So guys, I am headed to a thrift store that I was at yesterday, and I am hoping to rectify a rookie thrifting mistake that I made. I found some nice pieces of ceramics by the company Heath, and I have talked about that company before in my videos, and it has been so long since I found any Heath, and it was kind of just sitting there right when I walked in. I recognized the glaze and I was so excited, and I walked over, and the thrift store, which is well within their right, obviously had looked it up and had priced it pretty high. I mean, I'm assuming they looked it up. The thrift store does tend to price things kind of high anyway, because they do have different half off sales and things like that throughout the week. But it was just higher than I had wanted to pay. And so I think I just kind of let my disappointment kind of get the best of me. And so instead of looking at like what the pieces were and trying to figure out if it would be worth paying up, I just kind of had walked away from them. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to just double check the rest of the store and see if maybe there's some other pieces in the rest of the store. So I just kind of had left them and walked around, and it was still kind of like bugging me, and I'm like, oh, they're priced so high. Now they will have a day in a few days where those pieces will be half off when they do all like their kitchenware. And I was like, I gotta see if that's even worth it. So I took a picture of the pieces, so I'll put that picture up here. And so then I left. I don't think I bought anything in the store. And so I left. I went home. And so late last night, I was like, let me just kind of research the pieces. And one of the pieces was a ladle. And I've not really come across a Heath ladle before. I hadn't seen it. And so I'm researching, and I'm not finding anything on eBay. I'm not finding anything on the Heath website or anything. So then I finally, on Google, found a couple listings. One had a ladle with another piece, and those were sold. And then an Etsy listing had a ceramic, pottery ladle in an Etsy shop for $140, and it was sold. And I was like, crap, sorry, I don't know if I should say that. I should have bought those. I should have at least looked up the ladle or tried to figure out what the ladle was worth in the store. So I'm hoping today to go rectify this. I had some appointments this morning, so I'm gonna just go see if it's still there. I don't even recall what they priced the ladle at. If it had a separate price tag on it, I'm assuming it did. I might pick up the pitcher as well. That was the other lower priced item, but the two bowls were really large and they were priced a little bit higher, and so the profit margin I don't think would be that great, besides the kind of pain in the patootie it would be to package and ship it. But anyway, so I mostly want the ladle. So maybe if someone bought the other pieces, then at least maybe they didn't have a need for the ladle, or because I'm thinking the store's only been open a few hours today. I was there close to closing yesterday, so it's either another reseller who knew what they were, or someone just liked the look of them, would have picked them up this morning. So all right, so we're gonna go see if my ladle is there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so let me fill in the gaps while I'm doing my editing. I realized it wasn't quite clear. So the footage that you saw of me walking into the thrift store yesterday, the bowls and everything were right on that table that when you first walk in. And so I had that heart-stopping moment when I walked in and everything was gone. So I walked through the entire store. That's how I ended up in the game section. Just because I was like, I was just here yesterday, let me thrift in different places. And I just kind of wandered. They do put hard goods kind of throughout the whole store, even on top of over like the clothing sometimes, or there's other shelves in the in with the clothing. So I checked the kitchen thoroughly. I checked all these places, and so I had even texted Mr. Pish Posh and I said, somebody found the Heath and they wanted it all, and they took it all. And then I almost missed it. So I was checking out actually, and I was in line. I was looking at just the kind of costumey jewelry, and I was just standing there, and I turned around and I'm looking at these like cowboy boot type things that were like blinged out, and I was like, oh, that's funny. And then all of a sudden, bam, it like registered what I was looking at, that I was looking at all the Heath. So they had put it, you know, it would be like behind you as you're waiting in line. And so I'm glad I turned around because there it was. So super excited. Yay! Okay, so it turned out the ladle, so this is the ladle. Ladle itself is not marked, so I could possibly have come across this, you know, somewhere and not known what it was. But here, let me show you how I had to buy it. So it turned out the reason I didn't remember what price it was marked is because they had it with the picture. So I don't know that it originally, oh, there goes the earrings. I'll show you those later. Here's the mark, the Heath mark on the bottom. Now the Heath marks were a lot clearer on the bowls that were in there, but I didn't have a free hand to be able to take a picture of that. But anyway, so they had it together. So the picture was $25 with the ladle. So considering I know I can probably get a good price for the ladle itself, and I'll still profit on the picture, I was super excited about that. So the other bowls, the small bowl was like, small serving bowl was like $35, and the large bowl was $45. So I left the bowls for another day. Possibly, like I said, I don't know that I'm gonna pick them up. Maybe I would consider picking them up for myself for personal use. They're actually really kind of cool looking, so I didn't think of that, but I didn't want to pay the $35 and the $45 just for myself for some serving bowls. The problem is too, like the next half off day is in a few days, but we are headed out of town, and so I think by the time we're in town for the next day, it'll be over a week, and so we'll just see if they're still available at that time. So anyway, I'm gonna hit a few more thrift stores today. I'll share with you a couple of the other things I got at this thrift store when I ran through it real quick, and hopefully I find some more things along the way today that I can share with you in a bit when I get home. Okay, so you probably saw the little footage I put in there. That was in my little bin store. So that was just a little short little clip about finding the Black & Decker Space Maker popcorn maker. Like Black & Decker Space Maker appliances can be really good. They can be a good flip. There's like a coffee maker, you know, there's an alarm clock there. I think there was a used toaster in there, but it was pretty beat up and gross and everything like that. But then I saw the box and I saw the word Space Maker and I was like, no way. So I pulled it out and it was a popcorn maker, which I've never heard of the Space Maker popcorn maker, but I'll put some comps up here. Got a few little things probably I'll show you at home, and then some hats and things like that. And I paid $5 for everything. So it just started to rain a little bit right when I got home, so I just thought I would do a quick recording of what I picked up. Here's first of all what I found at that thrift store where I did ultimately end up finding the pieces of Heath that I wanted. But before that, I had kind of wandered around in the game section, which I don't normally do. But but I should. I don't know why. I just don't. Anyway, I found these playing cards, which I thought was interesting. They're sealed, which is always a good sign. They're linen finish, Lord Baltimore. And I flipped them over and they were only $2, but they were also like this little tiki Hawaiian kind of theme, which I thought was super awesome. So I think those will do pretty good. Maybe, I don't know, $20 or so is maybe what I can shoot for that. I did pick up this little box set of Pippi Longstocking books. They're in good condition. There's a little wear on the case, but my kids have these. These are the same exact books that I read when I was in school, or had at my house. And my kids have a copy of them. They always love them. So I figure someone's going to want those. And then I did pay $10 for this Cribbage Master board. The reason I did is because it's like brand new. It's in really good condition. And I looked in our records and I sold this model 1950. I've sold it in the past for $35. So even though I didn't want to pay $10, like I said earlier, I wasn't anywhere. We're not near a half off day coming up, or the next half off day will be while we're out of town. So I knew we could still profit on that. So that was at that first. Actually, a couple more things. Right after I found the Heath and I was so excited, I checked the jewelry case and I found 3 pairs of earrings, and they're all the same maker and they're all new. And what was super exciting was that I had found this maker, Holly Yashi. I had found a new one, like a new on card, right? Same kind of idea. At that same thrift store for $5, like the week before. So I think they just unloaded, unpacked some more earrings, probably the same person. And there were 3 more sets there today. So when I had brought the other set home last week, the other set I thought I could probably get like $40 to $50 for. So you can see they were $32 originally. But maybe like, a little bit more for this. This one has this niobium, is probably that metal, like that metal finish or whatever. So I'll put up some comps in the video for some of the Holly Yashi earrings, so you can kind of see. We'll see how we do with those. So then that other thrift store I went to is one I don't go to super often, but you saw the sign on the door was everything was half off in the store. So I picked up this little vintage game. I picked it up mostly for the ephemera that's inside. So I just liked, these endangered. It just reminds me of something I might have had as a kid. But anyway, so I'll figure out what to do with that. If I don't sell it as a whole set, maybe just as ephemera. That same store has a lot of fabric, so I picked up some fabric yardage because, hey, I don't need any more. Just what I need, more fabric. But I just thought those hippos were stinking cute. I don't know who makes the 2 pieces. I couldn't see the selvage, but I just thought the theme was kind of cute and that it would be doable. I got this vintage stapler. I'll probably end up keeping it. I have a hard time resisting vintage office supplies. And it's just so awesome looking. But it's probably like $15 or something on eBay. But then Etsy, we might even be able to get a little bit more. But we might just end up keeping that one. Let's see, a necklace there. This is just a Japan beaded necklace. But I like the graduation of color, the graduated color on that, kind of ombre going with the green. And just a pair of clip-on earrings. They're Coro. They're silver tone, but just kind of the silver tone nugget kind of thing. So I just thought those were interesting. And then I had one more thing that I need to unpack. Hold on. It was just this little egg cup. You can see the little figure of the guy on there. But it is marked Quimper, if I'm saying that right, Quimper, which is French. And it's a name I kind of look out for. This, you know, one single egg cup is not going to be worth a ton, but it's super cute. And so I couldn't resist, especially on a half off day. So I paid $2.50 for that, but super, super cute. So I'll just show you the stuff that came at the bins. I already told you about the Space Maker popcorn center. So this is what it looks like. Pretty funny. And then here's the hats I picked up there. Don't know anything about them. You know, when it's the bins, I just pick things up and figure it out later. And I let Mr. Pish Posh figure those things out. So vintage, a couple of vintage hats. I got this vintage needlepoint. Little girl, woman, girl, whatever. I like the old frame too. Another cribbage board. I don't know that that one's worth much of anything, but it was the bin. Got a couple belts. One is Ralph Lauren. The other one's no name. And then a pair of Merrill shoes, possibly for myself. And like I said, oh, is that it? Yeah, just a pie thingy. Just plain aluminum. I thought that was interesting. No markings. And that was it. But all of that, including the Space Maker, was $5, like I said. And then the sun came out, and so did a rainbow. Look at that. It is a full rainbow, actually. So thank you so much for joining me this afternoon as I went on my quest to fix my thrifting error, my thrifting mistake. Yesterday, I should have stopped and done the research. I should have thought about it a little bit more instead of getting emotionally caught up in the pricing of things, because that's, I think, unfortunately, the new reality of thrifting. But it kind of makes it more fun, makes it more challenging to find those diamonds in the rough. And as you can see, then at my very next stop, I go somewhere and I get an appliance that we still have to double check everything is in there and it's complete. And, you know, paid $5 for a whole bunch of stuff that's going to sell for fairly good money. And then that's just kind of the name of the game with thrifting these days. But I'm glad I was able to rectify my mistake and the items were still there, even though I had that little heart-stopping moment when the first table was empty, and then they hit it actually pretty good. I was in line and it was behind me in the line. So anyway, I'm probably just repeating everything I've already said in the video. I'm gonna, at the end of this video, link the video where I did talk about Heath, because I talk about a few other dinnerware companies or ceramics companies that are really good to know about if you are interested in reselling that type of thing. I mentioned earlier that we are headed out of town pretty soon, and so I'm hoping to have some good like haul videos from our out of town thrifting. We talked about maybe doing some challenges, thrifting challenges as a family. So we'll see how those turn out, if that's something we end up sharing with you guys or not. Hope you're having a great weekend, that you've been sourcing great things this weekend, and feel free to leave me a comment down below if you found like an amazing thing that you want to share. And so we will see you hopefully later on this week.